Alright, let's talk about pop art. That's our next project, and it's a super fun one. This is inspired by Andy Warhol, and let's just review a little bit of his portraits so we have an idea of what the inspiration is and what we're trying to take away from this inspiration. So, looking at his work, you're going to see some common threads, and I bet you guys have seen this kind of work before as well. So, some things you're going to notice happening in all of these portraits are that one, they're portraits. So they're all really neck and shoulders and face. Sometimes they're even just neck and face, neck and head. And they're really kind of zoomed in. So you're not getting a whole lot of background. You don't want to have a whole lot of empty space in these portraits because that's not what Andy Warhol is having in his. And he always has his main facial features visible. So eyes, nose, and mouth always there. And he's really great at contrasting colors and values. You can see that in every single image he's making. And usually he uses about 4 or 5 colors per image. Just remember, black is not a color. So for this example, we have red, orange, a different kind of red for the lips, a blue earring, a flesh color, and then a purple shirt. And then what he's doing with his colors is they're very flat. So he's using that palette knife and he's mixing them before he applies them to his page. We're going to be doing the same thing with our palette knife. So we're not going to be mixing directly on the artwork itself. We want to get flat color. And then lastly, sometimes his colors don't always line up perfectly. Sometimes his eyeshadows or his lip lines or his hair is a little bit off. But he does it for everyone. So since he does it for everyone and it's pretty consistent, it ends up still looking pretty interesting. Here you can see that example with the eyeshadow and the lips. They both go over those boundaries. But that's still looking really interesting. Now, our requirements is another student example from a couple years ago. But you want to make sure that you're also picking a portrait that takes up the majority of the page. Your portrait should also have all the main features visible. The eyes, nose, and lips should be there. And you also want to have at least 4 colors per image. You can have more than that, but between the background, the skin color, any clothing, any eyeshadow or lip color, any hair color, that should add up to at least 4 pretty easily. And then you also are going to be mixing your colors so they're nice and flat. So the reason we're doing this project, the learning goals, we want to make sure that you can effectively contrast colors for a nice bold impact. And also you can use tints, tones, and hues and shades effectively in a design. And lastly, that you can be really observing and matching the black shapes that your photo has in your reference. So you'll make sure that you're really paying close attention to matching all those black shapes and not just making a black line drawing because that won't look as effective. Now there's 4 steps to this project. You can find them all on Canvas. The first one is going to be grabbing a MacBook and creating your photo reference. So there's a tutorial for that in Canvas right there. And you again will need a MacBook for that. You're going to be tracing your photo onto acetate. There's also a video demo for that one. Then adding paint to the back of your acetate. Video demo for that. And then lastly, cutting your work down and gluing it to the poster board. That's going to be done in person as an in-person demo whenever you're in school. And we'll be doing that one together. Now lastly, what you might want to do before you start is go into your SlideShare and look over the grading rubric. We're not going to be posting progress pieces for this in the SlideShare. You're just going to post the final work in the SlideShare, and you're going to also do your own self-assessment, and then this is the teacher assessment. So make sure you're reading over how you'll be graded in case you want to know that before you start your project. And that's it. I can't wait to see what you guys do and who you guys pick, and hopefully you have a lot of fun with this one.